What is it about this word no that makes us think it's a negative thing? Why is it that no cannot be seen as a positive thing? Maybe it's just me. However, whenever I hear the word no or I think of saying no, I associate that with something negative. For example, if I ask for something, even growing up as a child and I asked my mom for something and she said no, I would go into a corner and I'd be offended and I'd be hurt and I'd be like, why can't I get this? And next thing you know, there's a tantrum. And we've grown into adults. I have certainly grown into an adult, not wanting to hear no. If I ask for something, I'd much rather somebody say yes than give me a negative. I don't like the word no. I have found sometimes though, whether it's people or my expectations of the world, that when I get a no, as we mature, we have to learn how to handle it. It could be not now, right? No, maybe later. But you won't know unless you ask again. And if you're afraid of no, then you may be afraid to ask again and therefore you miss out on an opportunity. See where I'm going with this? Or no could be no. And you might just be a better person for it, because had you gotten what you had asked for, it probably could have blocked your progress for something else. Or no could just mean better yourself and come back. I know if it's something I really want and I get no the first time, I go back and I fix whatever I think needs to be fixed and I go and I ask again. And if it's a no, then I go back and I do more and I come back. What this is doing is building character, making me a better person, refining whatever art I have so that when I come back 3 times, I'm 3 times better than I was before. I remember when I applied for university the first time, it was a slam dunk outright no. I wasn't even ready. I think I was about 16 at the time. And I applied again the next year. It was very competitive and it was a challenge. I don't even think I got through the second time. It's so long ago though. I think I got through on my 3rd try. I wanted to do this and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. But the time I got off to prepare myself for this made me more mature, made me more ready to be away from home, away from my family, and to tackle this very difficult and challenging course that I chose to do. And in the end, I was much better for it. I didn't see it then. I was livid. I was frustrated. I was stressed. Years later, I can look back and say, well, probably was for the better. Imagine how much stress we could save ourselves if we see things that way from day one. No isn't always a bad thing. It could be allowing you to get better, or it could be a maybe, or wait until later, or it could be a flat out no, this isn't for you, do something else. Either way, the quicker you learn the lesson, the better. Now let's explore actually saying no. I don't like saying no for the same reason I don't like hearing a no. I don't want to give people the impression that I'm being negative. I don't want to offend people. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I don't want somebody, to walk away feeling down because I said no. However, I have found in life that for my own sanity, for my own peace of mind, for my own well-being, and sometimes for the other person's as well, I have no choice but to say no. And I'm hoping that by saying no, you'll understand that I'm not trying to hurt or offend you in any way. It's just that sometimes we really have to say no. I'll give you some examples. I've been asked to go places or do things that don't necessarily align with who I am, or the timing isn't right, or it clashes with some other activity. And in all instances, sometimes it's the same person asking me 2 or 3 times. And if you go by this rule, 3 strikes, you're out. You say no to somebody 3 times, and next thing you know, they never ask you to do anything or go anywhere again. You don't really want that either. And sometimes in saying no, I'm very apologetic. I go through all the explanations of why first before I say, unfortunately, I can't. It's not a bad thing, but I don't want to feel guilty every time I have to say no. And I'm saying to you, if you have to say no to me, don't necessarily feel guilty either. Sometimes it is what it is, man. The worst thing you can do is say yes and then not show up for what you've committed to. Or you say yes and then cancel at the last minute because you're now overbooked. The best thing to do from day one, if you know you're unable to make it, is to say no. Worst case scenario, you say maybe. and you work towards it, but give enough notice if in the end it's going to be a no. What I'm saying at the end of the day, my friends, is that we don't like no. It sounds negative. It might be, a word a lot of us associate with a lot of ill things in our lives, things that haven't gone right. But at the same time, it may not be the end of the world. It may not be a bad thing. It might be just what I need to say, or it might just be what I need to hear. So the word no, N-O, is it a bad thing? N-O. It just might be what we need for that particular moment. So look for the positive in the no. And go forth, and if you have to say no with a smile. And if you hear a no, take it with a smile. And let that help to propel you to the next level and to make you a better version of yourself. Because no is not always a bad thing.